Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, we're very happy to have yet another conversation or Facebook Live with volunteers of South Ilahi. And today we have a very interesting segment. We're going to talk about the sacred path of love and also about the book, inshallah. You guys can check out the links that we're going to provide later on. Today we have a few volunteers. I'd like to go one by one, but of course we'll start with none other than our directors. Sidi Khalid and Saida Ainun, Kak Ainun. How are you guys doing? Abang Khalid, Kak Ainun?
Good, Alhamdulillah. It's a blessing to meet everyone online tonight, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. All right. We also have a few other volunteers with us. I'll just say your name one by one. You guys can jump in, yeah? And we have, maybe I'll start my right. Kismet, one of our volunteers. Hi, Kismet. All right. And we also have Santriani.
Hello.
And we have Zizie or Siti Nazifa. Right. And last but definitely not least, we have Dahlia.
Hello, everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Abu, do you realize that we were outnumbered now?
I think so. Help. Yeah, so Alhamdulillah, we are very blessed to have volunteers with us and also Abang and Kak. Before we begin, I'd like to scope this whole conversation because we are going to talk about the sacred path of love. It is the year 2020 and the sacred path of love did start back in 2010. But do you guys actually know what's the history behind it and how did everything come about? And I would love to find out more about this story. I'd love to hear from everyone involved here, but none other than Kak Ainun and Abang Khalid. Right? So maybe let's start with Kak Ainun. Kak Ainun, could you share with us, what actually got you to start the sacred path of love? What was the inspiration? What was the thought process behind it? Could you share with everybody? Bismillah.
I think Sacred Path of Love started in 2010. We both wanted to invite some scholars for a conference, and basically one in regards to Islamic spirituality. So we wanted to bring people to know more about tasawwuf and Sufism. So that's how we started. In 2010, when we started, we weren't really so far. South Ilahi started even before that. We were doing I think more of kasida events. So this was actually the first time that we did like a series of talks, a conference. So it was the first time, and that was in 2010, and we invited Shemahi, and then Dr. Afifi Al-Akiti. We have Sheikh Afifuddin and Ustaz Zaid and Ustaz Shakir. So they were the ones we invited in 2010. I think at that time when it first started, it was actually quite a difficult time for both of us. I remember that was the year my mom passed away, which was in August, and then the conference was in December, 4th and 5th December 2010. So it was actually a difficult time for me personally. Yeah, after losing my mother whom I love so much, and but then the whole conference, that's why I felt that in a way the sacred path of love also teaches us a lot of things about our own lives, like because I was going through difficulty at the beginning. We were going through difficulty. In fact, on the day itself, on the 4th December, his mother was hospitalized, and yeah, and he went to the hospital. So I was there alone, uh, handling whatever it is that needs to be handled. And basically at that time we didn't have like so many volunteers like a team now that we have, alhamdulillah, right? But at that time it was really like the main person is still the two of us, although we have people helping. And of course Sidi Ashik really helped us a lot. In fact, he's the one who helped us with the notes, right? In the middle of the night, we cannot take it really because we have been awake for a long time and we were not used to it. And then it was in the middle of the night that we printed the notes in his office, and he was helping us do it. So yeah.
Wow.
So if not, I mean, yeah lah, at that time, that was the start of Sacred Path of Love.
Before Kak pass to Abang, can I ask you why that name? Why the sacred path of love?
I think it took a long time for us to come to that
We had few
name.
names.
We had a few names.
Okay.
So we bounced off each other like for quite some time.
At first we thought wanted to vote, but then there's two of us only, so doesn't matter.
I remember
Okay.
we took like a week or something,
Yeah.
like
I
figuring it
think
out.
I still remember Kak also istihara about it,
Of
the name.
course, mashallah. Okay,
So
alhamdulillah.
yeah, but yeah, we came out with it like together.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Abang Khalid? Yeah, you want to share with us about the journey, how it all began?
I think Kak Ainun has said most of it.
Okay.
But I think what is the learning point for us to be syukur to Allah to where we are today, because we started with three people, me, her, and Ashik, and three of us run the whole conference. And you can imagine the how it is lah. But when we look back, we smile. We never like macam complain or what. Because I felt it was also a journey for us. It was a journey for us to learn about ourselves, like Kak was saying, and that's how we grow. And even the next year conference, so we didn't even plan until 10 years. To be honest, we just plan like that. Like we never imagine like it's like planting a seed and it grows a tree and bear fruits. We just like okay, just do it. So the next year, I was asking her whether she wanted to continue, and think I can't remember exactly lah, but I think she istihara again and all that. So we said yeah, we continue. So continue until 2010. Sorry, 2020. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. So, but along the years, of course, there's so many people, so many souls coming in and help. We also had CD Idris Kamal. He also helped along the years. Sheikh Nabil and
Yes.
Imran. So that was the earlier generation. And they were the one who laid the foundation actually. And later on, alhamdulillah, we have of course, all these people, beautiful people you seen right now. We had Dahlia helping us.
Yeah.
We had Kismet helping us. And then we had
Yes.
Satriani helping us. And then, of course, Zizie came later, mashallah. As we said, there are more coming in, alhamdulillah. And we didn't expect anything, as I mentioned to you, because we thought like we just do it for the sake of sharing what is Islamic spirituality. And along the years, 10 years, you can see that how Islamic spirituality actually not just a theoretical knowledge, not just zikir and all that, but it
Mm,
deals with psychology, our mindset, our mental state.
right.
I mean, that's what Sufism is, and that's what we intended to do. And
MashaAllah.
alhamdulillah, Allah help us through
Can I
this.
just come in for a short while? Because
Yeah, it
we
can, of
all
course.
know about this. Okay, it's been a 10-year journey, right? But we want to hear from you because how, what have you learned? Okay, how do you see things differently? 10 years now after Sekapavlov and versus when you first started. Were there some things that you realized after the 10-year journey of organizing all these events for the community that
I
you
think
feel is valuable to be shared? Yeah.
the same thing is still for me lah. Even though our volunteers have grown,
Hmm.
thanks to you and all of you here, inshallah. The struggle is still the same.
Okay.
The discipline to ensure everything is on time, to listen Dahlia calling your name, and then I think it's all beauty and you know what I mean. It's like it's a human thing. And if I were to look back and now, I just felt it's a journey. It's like it started somewhere, few people, and now along the years we have so many on our caravan. Even those who left, we still have them with us. They are still with us no matter what. Alhamdulillah. Because I think as time goes by, also some people they have other things that came into their way, their work and everything. But they always with us, like Dahlia. And also um, the title and everything changes because, as I mentioned earlier, Sufism is not just to talk about zikir and to talk about theoretical knowledge of understanding your nerves, but we saw after 10 years how the nerves mold us into something that is evil within us, that is danger to community. So we understand social illness. And first thing to do is to diagnose ourselves and purify ourselves. Yeah, and through that we wanted to share that blessing, and alhamdulillah, Allah has given us the opportunity year after year. Right? And the work is always continue because of all you people. And it's not because of me and my wife. You know, Satrani did a good job with the transcribing, and we had the book, right? And this is what later on we're going to talk about the book. And it's also part of her effort. And then we have Dahlia standardizing the work that we do at Secret Power Love, and then we have Kismet sharing. You know, I remember Kismet first came to Secret Power Love sharing her life experience, and now she is the experience in everything. And we have Zizie. I remember Zizie first time came to Secret Power Love was in KL in 2017. Yeah, you see, so everybody has a different unique journey.
Yeah, I think where although we started out with Islamic spirituality in mind, later on we started to see like what the community needs. So it kind of shifted around 2013. So we focus more on how to deal with challenges in life. So from there on, yeah, I mean, to basically it is still Islamic spirituality, but what you see is that it's in a way sometimes people disconnect Sufism with daily life. Like they only see it as like miracles, or those who have, those who have a high status, so they don't really see themselves as going on that journey. So what we realize is that we want to combine it, like, so that people see that Islamic spirituality is important in their daily life, and it also affects how we deal with the challenges in life. So you cannot separate it altogether. Like whatever you face in life, you have to deal with it through Islamic spirituality, and that's where we went towards. So we started talking about anger management. We started talking about loneliness, anxiety, depression, and these are all I mean, related to Islamic spirituality as well. Is the inner state. So we shifted around 2013 because we called Hajar Ashaki at that time, and I felt that a lot of people connected to her, and I think we talk about overcoming sorrow through remembrance of God. Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's one of the lectures on in the book as well.
I think I'd like to ask Kismet. Kismet was there. That was her first experience, right? You like to share, not? No.
Can. So yeah, so I think yeah, 2013 was the first time I went to the Sacred Path of Love, and it was my first ever Islamic spiritual event. Because before that, I wasn't, I wasn't seeking. In fact, on that day itself, so at that point of time, I wasn't seeking anything. All I know is just that I was in a lot of I was in a lot of problems. So I was just, thankfully I got reacquainted back with my old friend Khalid. So he just invited me to the event, and it's very nerve-wracking lah, because I have never been into a mosque before. At that point of time, like I think the only time I went to mosque was to collect, Branian Mal. So that was really the first time I went inside, and like, of course, like I had a lot of questions, like, am I dressed up okay and everything like that. But I got a different feeling lah, when I went into the auditorium. I was so nervous actually outside the gates. But when I went into the auditorium, and like I saw people settling down and everything, right? I saw what a diverse crowd lah it was. Then I was like laughing to myself, because you're so nervous, but like eventually, like, everyone here is just the same as you, and they're just coming to seek knowledge lah. And of course, the experience I had was to meet Hajar Shakia. And I remember Khalid asking me, come, let's meet Haja Shaki. And I was like, why? You know, why you want to bring me to meet her? Why? You know? Then he said, then I just come say hi to her, you know, just talk to her. Say, oh my God, what am I gonna say to her? You know, like, you know, she's so majestic over there and all that, you know. So like I remember I went with my friend, you know, I was just about to enter the door and you know, he was standing behind me. And then when I sat with her, he disappeared. So I was alone with her. So I sat with her and like, yeah, it was really a blessed experience. She made dua for me, and it was the first time that I've ever sat with, you know, a scholar lah, you know, and had a conversation with a scholar. So it's definitely like a memory that is still fresh in my mind lah. It was a
Mashallah.
beautiful experience.
MashaAllah.
Mashallah. Thank you for sharing. I think Dahlia also has a deep experience with us at Sacred Pavlov. I remember she attended 2012. Imam Munda was there, and I think somehow it's like really, I would not say impactful, but she went through a lot also, and I felt that that itself reflects what Sacred Pavlov is about. And Dahlia, would you like to share with us after all these years what you think and how you see it?
Yes, sure. So you're right. I think time flies very quickly. I was just looking back to what was the year that I first attended Sacred Path of Love. So yes, I attended the first time I attended Sacred Path of Love in 2012. Um, at that time, I think I wasn't in any problem, but was more torn between like what's right and what's wrong, um, with Islam. you know, like especially with the do's and don'ts is in Islam and all the different opinions that people, in the community that try to educate me. So I was trying to look for answers. Maybe at that time, in fact, it was more like I was looking for answers in Islam that matches what I feel personally. Like I wanted someone to say, "Yes, you're right. This is what it is," and okay, that's the Islam I will follow. So that's why I was trying to educate myself, and I found I have wonderful friends like Brother Khalid, Sister Ainun, and I'm actually very 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 now 2020 with this pandemic and all, I reflect a lot at home with this time by myself, especially during the Ramadan stuck at home. I feel actually super blessed that I came on the sacred path of love. I found that the path, I would say the path to love, and it brought me to the discovery of the divine love of Allah, I must say, and then into the love for myself, and then the love for family and friends, and the things that happen in my life. So over the years with Sacred Path of Love, as a volunteer, so then I decided to volunteer after the 2012, because I wanted to know more, and I wanted to get, like Kismet said, it was the opportunity for me to get closer to the knowledge. So not really to get closer to the scholars, because they're scholars from overseas, but more like I wanted that opportunity to gain knowledge by doing by volunteering with Sacred Path of Love. So I volunteered, and I used what I could use with my what I can contribute from what I experience at work, and also I bring my external experience from work and everything in my life, that what my strengths are, that I can contribute to help Sacred Path of Love events and programs work. So alhamdulillah for the opportunity to work with all the volunteers. But in that process, in the journey until today, it's really life changing. It's really even though like sometimes I come on and off because of work and travel. Why it is life changing for me is it um it is so impactful that I'm able to take it with me anywhere I go. So if I find myself somewhere right now and super lost, um, you know, there's something that is magical and impactful from what I learned and my journey and my experience with the sacred path of love that is like my toolkit that I can take with me anywhere I go. So um, yeah, it's a long story to describe what it is, but I must say that it's a developmental journey for myself as a person, as a Muslim. Um, the when Ainun talked about the spiritual knowledge and all that, the Islamic spiritual knowledge, I never knew and I never learned that from madrasa. In madrasa, I was more of a rebel because I didn't agree with the do's and don'ts. I wanted to create my own rules, but the Islamic spiritual sacred path of love, the topics and the depth of it actually resonated with really who I wanted to be or what I saw. So it brought truth um, to light for me. Yeah.
MashaAllah. Thank you very much for sharing your experience, which I felt that we learned so much from you too. And whenever you travel, I'm sure we are always with you too. MashaAllah. And it's amazing to see you again. This pandemic brought things alive actually. A lot of things unearthed. Alhamdulillah. And also along the years, right, Abu, Singapore of Love, we also have some. I was saying in the beginning that we always face challenges every year.
every year.
And after 2013, we had a problem with venue because it's always been Masjid Sultan Auditorium. But at that point in time, Masjid Sultan turned to apa? Renovation.
Renovation.
So we
Okay.
don't know. So we also stuck. We are
Yeah.
in limbo. But I remember 2014, you are the one who revived Sacred Pavlov. Because Kak Ainun dah penat and I also macam bocap, but you revive it and with the help of our mentor Dahlia and insyaAllah it works well. And
Very.
that was the
Yeah.
time when we uh, changed our venue because we were looking for a venue, remember?
Yeah.
And then suddenly Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala opened up that venue. It happened to be at SMU.
Yeah.
And that's where we met Santri.
Exactly.
But that time, she was more of a usher. She was so low profile. She was like, usher. I said, are you sure you are usher? Say, yes, I'm a usher. Right? But I saw her credibility lah. I saw her strength, which I told you. Because Abu like to put her as usher. And I said, Abu, Satrani, I strongly felt Satrani has a hidden ability or talent. I said that. Why
Mm.
don't you ask her to be a writer? And then when she became a writer, wow, mashallah. And
Booms.
all the work of the transcribe and transcript or transcribe, whatever you said it, or even the quotes that you read today are all from her work, mashallah. You see someone so quiet, they on corner, right?
Low
But
profile.
certainly, it was very interesting because you told me before when I was given the chance by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala to meet you one time. Remember at Wardah, and I said, "Are you really?" Because we were just discussing about certain things, and then I was asking you, "Are you really interested? To help us to enhance our work?" And then you say, "Yeah." Right. So what was your experience then as a student, but also a volunteer as an usher, and then later on became a writer and transcriber? Oh, mashallah, naik makam dia. Right. So that's how you grow actually, and that's how
Yeah.
we saw each other grow. Right. So we like to hear from you, the quiet ones. Right.
Okay. So basically in 2014, I was studying at SMU at the time. And I heard of Sacred Path of Love before. But I didn't know it was affiliated to Soilahi, or I didn't know anything about Soilahi. And I wanted to attend SPOL before in previous years, but I didn't get around to doing it or anything. So when I got the opportunity, like somebody asked me to help volunteer for SPOL in 2014, and I was like, yeah, why not? I'll give it a try. I didn't know what I was going to go in for or anything. So yeah, I mean, on the day of SPOL itself, I remember coming to the auditorium, and the auditorium wasn't open yet, so everybody was like outside the auditorium, just like standing around and like hanging out and chatting and everything. And I was just like looking at the crowd and just like, I don't know, observing everything. And then I realized that the crowd itself was so diverse. Like at that time, I was like event hopping, so like from different events organized by different organizations and so on and so forth. So, but this fall event was the first time that I saw a crowd that was really so diverse, in the sense of you really get the sense that everybody there is from different walks of life. So you see people who are like from the traditional Islamic circles, and you see people who there were punks and skinheads there. There were people with like tattoos all over the place, and at that time it was quite out of the ordinary. So I was very like impressed by it, and I really felt like it was an embodiment of that phrase "come as you are." So I mean, that was kind of what I was intrigued by with Paul. And at the time, I felt like, you know, we like to throw this phrase around, like "come as you are," and we tell people, you know, we're not going to judge you or everything like that. But on the, like, it's different when people actually come to you, and then a lot of time people feel like they're being, I don't know, judged against a measuring stick of their religiosity or spirituality or something. But it was different for Paul. I didn't feel that at all, and I was really amazed as you see people who look like, on superficially they look so different, like completely different from the outside, but everybody's just there, and you know, to learn from the scholars and to really just try and uplift themselves and try to aim for something higher. So that was something that really intrigued me about sport. And at the time I was an usher, so I was literally just standing at the door, just greeting everybody, just like hi, bye, whatever. And so I really got the chance to see like how different everybody from the crowd is. So yeah, it was really amazing. And I remember, I think in fall 2014 that year, one of the talks was about loneliness. And I remember thinking like, this is something new. Like there wasn't a lot of organizations at the time who tackle this kind of like social ills or stuff that people are going through in modern life, and link it to Islamic spirituality and traditional Islamic scholarship as well. So that was something also that I felt was really amazing. So yeah, and then I decided to help out more at Soilahi. And yeah, as Sidi Khalid said, I became a writer. So as time went on, and it just ended up doing more and more work. And I didn't know, like when he asked me to be a writer or to transcribe or anything, I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. Like I've never done anything like that before or anything like that. But that's one of the things that I really appreciate about this whole journey at Soilahi and at SPOL also, because I think for every one of us here, when we are asked to do things that, you know, we're not comfortable with or we're not really confident with, we don't know, like, can I do this or not? But you just like focus on your intention, and you just know that you're doing it for Allah and Prophet Sallallahu, and then you just put your best effort into it, and then just leave everything else to Allah. And I mean, we always say that that's how we are in real life, but you know, we're not like that in real life. So it was Ilahi and SPOL that gave me this opportunity to really practice that. Yeah, so that's something that's something that I can never sort of be thankful enough for.
Can I just add, because you are a writer, were you always into writing, and how has your writing changed over the years? Because you know, you always got progress. Abang Khalid always, you know, gave you things to always help you improve as a writer. So maybe you can share how the experience in Saudi Sacred Path of Love has shaped your journey as a writer as well to grow.
Okay, so I've always loved writing since I was a kid. but I never considered it like to be I never considered pursuing it as a career or doing like taking it seriously. Like basically, I just doing it for my own interest. So it was at so lucky that that was the first time that I was given writing tasks to do that weren't project work or school work or whatever. So this was something that I was genuinely like really interested in. I was really like invested in it. So I really like put in like 110% effort into it. And for So Ilahi, like when I started writing for them, and basically just I didn't have anything in mind about like this is the kind of writing that I want to have or whatever. I just like approached it from my heart in the sense that um, there were always like a lot of questions that I had in my heart about Islamic spirituality and how it relates to things like loneliness and anxiety and depression and all of that. So that's where I started from, and I really just went from there and poured whatever I felt from my heart into the writing itself. So yeah, whatever you see, that like whatever articles or anything like that, that's where it all started for me lah. Yeah.
And I think I speak for all of the volunteers. Whatever we learn in Sacred Power of Love and Salahi, we apply in our own lives. I think for you also, Santri, the writing that you did and the work that you did, it helped you in your own career, your own life, right? After that.
Yeah. So basically in SMU, I was a psych student. I mean, I was studying psychology, but I really didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I was just like, I don't know, like I was always wondering like, what am I going to do when I graduate? I have no idea. I was totally clueless.
Yeah.
So it's only at Soilahi that when Sirali gave me the opportunity to do writing and everything, then somewhere along the way I was like, hey, why not I try and do this as a career. So yeah, the starting point for me for my career in writing was Soilahi. So alhamdulillah.
Yeah. MashaAllah. I think I saw your growth, and it's because of your growth and your determination and discipline we got the Sacred Path of Love book. MashaAllah. That's the karama. Alhamdulillah. Right. And as we were mentioning about how the venue had to change, right? And in 2017, by the grace of Allah and the blessing of the Prophet, Sacred Path of Love was held in KL, Kuala Lumpur, first time outside Singapore. And it's the first time Zizie attended it. I think you came with Ami, right? You came with Ami, Irfan. Was it Irfan or
No,
Alim?
Alim.
Alim and Sharil, was it?
Sorry. Yeah.
MashaAllah. It was nice to see them. But Z, you yourself always heard about South Ilahi and so on. We want to hear your experience also lah before we start the whole thing about the book. Like, what was your experience like attending South Ilahi in KL, and then after that you became a volunteer in Singapore for the past 2 years in Singapore, right? You became the volunteer. MashaAllah, you are one of those volunteers who grow in stature, MashaAllah. And all of our volunteers grow, of course. And it's blessed for me and my wife to see that because we wanted to share that blessing. So what was the experience like in KL and then in Singapore?
I think when it's actually my first time ever going overseas to an Islamic event. Usually it's like going for like concerts and gigs. So it's really like the first time ever that I actually do that. So when I actually decided to go for Sacred Path of Love, right? Previously I had already watched like videos of Sacred Path of Love, and I'm always like intrigued by it and always wanted to go because honestly, when I watched the videos, I recognize Kismet, I recognize Arif. I'm like, these are people from the scene. So I'm just a bit like, wow, that's like kind of interesting. So I've always wanted to like attend. So finally, like in 2017, I managed, Secret Path of Love was in KL. So I decided to like, okay, you know what, I'll just go. And then like my intention was just to absorb whatever it is that there is there lah, to just go there. And because I was seeking at that point of time, right? Because I was really honestly like looking for a spiritual guide, and I was just really seeking. So I just told myself like, you know what, just go on this journey, sit in, listen to whatever that you have to listen, and just absorb in whatever that I can absorb in. So that was then in KL, right? So I remember like there was like Baraka Blue was one of the speakers. Imam Emdao, Dr. Omar. So like they were like really great speakers, and I was especially I really liked the Q&A questions because it was really deep. Like the you realize like people actually go through intense stuff that you kind of like in a bubble. You don't know that people are going through this. And the way the scholars approach it was quite beautiful because there's always like different aspects of things that they advise, the participants. But honestly, like the journey really happens like after that because I was really like, how do I say it? I had this like, when I listened to Imam Emdal, I really love how Imam Emdal gave his talk, right? So when I think if I'm not wrong, when we came back to Singapore, Imam Emdal had his talk, right, in
Yeah,
Singapore.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then like
Dunia and Din.
it was like quite a prolonged period of time where Imam Emdal was around. So basically, like I went to the zikirs and all that. I think that was really the point where my spiritual journey really started because I was asking him questions and I was just like really searching. So it was really from Sacred Path of Love that it journeys on to like my meeting with Imam Emda and just asking him questions. And then that's when I actually found my path lah. So it's like really mashallah, like from Sacred Path of Love, from not knowing what I would end up having to just journeying on to actually finding my path. So it was, to me, it was just a beautiful experience. So I never forget 2017. It was really, yeah. And then after that, of course, after that, I started volunteering. I've always wanted to volunteer for Sacred Path of Love because I feel like the community will always benefit because when you know that you benefited from it so much, right? You know that somehow people will bring back something. I mean, maybe not immediately, but somehow maybe years after they would like come back to it and they will find something from it, like benefit from it. So that's why I decided like in any ways that I can help with Secret Path of Love, I will always like want to volunteer. Yeah, so that's like my experience. Yeah.
MashaAllah, Aziz. Thank you very much. That's also another experience of journey, and we can see that everyone has their own journey. MashaAllah, it's a sign of Allah's mercy. Yeah, we thank Allah for this. Is something that you cannot relate, but I'm not saying relate, but you cannot imagine how it is like along the 10 years, and all of you came along the 10 years. Subhanallah. It's a caravan of love, caravan of hope, right? So I think along the years, after 10 years, finally, somehow my big boss decided to make a book. And maybe to commemorate his 10 years, right? And we never thought that we will reach 10 years, right? And even every year we struggle with finance and everything, but Allah's mercy, He finished it up. I mean, He completed for us. We don't make money out of it, seriously. We don't make money and we don't have much sponsor. There are people who sponsor, there are company who sponsor, but this is like what Zizi said, something else lah. It's not just like a sponsor kind of thing. But alhamdulillah, so the 10 years book started. You want to share the experience how they started so that people can.
I think we planned for quite some time lah. I think Sachani did the transcript. I think it was a few years. In fact, we just put it like in storage for quite a while, because the transcript was always there lah. But we didn't really focus on it. And then it comes to the 10th year, right? Then we're thinking we need something to commemorate the 10th year. So it was quite last minute because alhamdulillah the scholars were kind enough to like process it quite fast, like look through it and all. So we managed to bring it out. I think most of the transcripts were already there for a few years. Then we decided to do a book because we felt that some people they cannot attend, right? And some more there are people overseas who have never attended. So we felt that it's a good way uh to put up the content. I mean, they shared a lot of things, like Sheikh Abdul Aziz. He's one of the main players in Secret Path of Love. Dr. Umar Mahmud as well, and Iman Dao. The three of them, of course, are the ones who have been with us for quite a long time. over the years. And yeah, we wanted to include all those stuff and for people to read, and they can keep it for many many years to come. So that's how it all started. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was a big challenge. It was tough challenge. Me, my wife, and Satrani. And Satrani always quiet lah, but me and my wife always quarrel because like which one is best, which one is good. But Satrani, of course, she will give input. But you know, being someone who is small and soft, so she will like okay, you know, just follow. But maybe I would like to ask Dahlia, right? Dahlia, after being a volunteer and then you finally got the book, you read the book. What do you think of the book? And what you like to share about the book? Two questions for you. What you think of the book and what you like to share about the book tonight?
Okay, so being with my experience being a participant first of the Sacred Path of Love, and then onwards volunteering. Um, so before I touch on the book, I just wanted to add on to what Satriani, the author of the book, um, uh, shared earlier about come as you are. I think it's very important that I highlight that first before I go into the book. That was exactly why I followed on Sacred Path of Love for 10 years. It's the fact that I could come as I am with Sot Ilahi, with the team, and with the Sacred Path of Love. I found my sense of belonging with the team, and as well as with the community. So I think that's very important. When Satrani talked, I think you mentioned earlier just now about like you saw people with tattoos and punk heads and skinheads and punks, or all those people from different walks of lives and background coming together, and the fact that Sacred Path of Love program really touch on real life matters, things that we all go through. There was not once that in Sacred Path of Love or in my experience in Sot Ilahi that I've been reprimanded, or like if Malaysia kena tegur, like why don't you do this, why don't you do that. And in fact, what was very memorable for me was there was once that I attended Sheikh Afifuddin's session at the auditorium, and the first thing Brother Khalid saw me was, he's like, why are you wearing the hijab? Because he knew at that time I wasn't wearing the hijab, and he just wanted me to come and listen. But he saw like I was trying to get my get up all to fit in. And just that, I'm not saying that he's encouraging me without the hijab, but what I'm trying to say is that come as you are. I think it's a touch deeper than what's on the surface. So that's very important for me to address. I think that was the thing, the key to welcoming me and really love. That is really what love is, I must say. So okay, on the book, what I really love is that I would like to congratulate Safrani, Brother Khalid, and Sister Ainun for finally getting the book out, because I feel like the message needs to get out to more people. So that's one. And and to have this book in Warda Books, where a lot of tourists actually come to when they visit Arab Street. I've seen Japanese actually walked into Warda Books, and like this is the message that needs to get out there to the world. It's the love that needs to get out there to the world. So I've listened to the great scholars I love, like Sheikh Aziz, Imam Mendao, Dr. Omar, and just me reading this book over and over again. It's very thin. It's not like very thick. It's also like I can put it in my handbag. It's very handy. The things that I find in this book is like they serve as reminders for me, so I can take whenever I take it anywhere with me. um, Sometimes in life we still go through the ups and downs, and when we're especially down, this is the book that I would go to, just to remind myself of hope, of beauty, of love, of God's love, and just not only that, but there are practical examples of what to do and how I can get over what I need to get over, when I'm in the quicksand. So, for instance, there's a chapter written by Sheikh Aziz, and he mentioned about these days we are all suffering from anxiety, depression, and sometimes people don't want to speak up because they feel like their voice wouldn't be heard, and they feel stuck and they don't know where to go for help, right? The topic by Sheikh Aziz, this topic, breaking down the walls, unshackling the chains of the past. Um, this is very real for me as an executive coach. So I do coaching in my career right now. I found that even trying to help executives in the corporate world, um, their issues at the moment, whether they're like in their 30s or in their 40s or even in their late 50s, actually rooted from their childhood, which is their past. And most of the times, people like in this chapter that Sheikh Aziz shared, is most of the time people will go into moments of you being in the quicksand, and you're just so desperate, you're drowning, or you really feel like you're being sucked into the quicksand, you're really falling in, and you just don't know what to do. And that's most of the things that most of the time now that I observe in my work with people, is that when you don't know what to do to get out of the quicksand is when you go into all the mental issues. And that's why we have now a lot of mental health issues going on. Um, so practically, all the scholars who have contributed to this book, like Sheikh Aziz, Dr. Omar, because they have experience with people who experience those things. They have, they have worked with people who are going in, falling into being sucked into the quicksand. So the book actually provides practical, and easy steps to follow, to think when you think about, how can I get out of the quicksand, what can I do, and the book is very easy to digest. It got me hooked. uh, I would really encourage everyone to read, but the essence of the sacred path of love, every for 10 years this program, the essence never changed, and I'm very happy to say that you've done a great job in putting in that essence in the book. Yeah, so that's my take on the book.
Thank you, Dahlia. MashaAllah. Thanks for sharing. I think it's amazing to hear that from you. But we know you enjoyed your time with us and you learned a lot, as you mentioned. So, Alhamdulillah, thank you very much. And I think a lot of people who are viewing this, they will get your words and they will try to look into the books, inshallah. I get into Abu. So Abu is like my co-host today, but then he's very quiet. Abu, when the book is out, Kak Ainun, one of the things Kak Ainun remember is you. Because
Okay.
as I mentioned, in 2014, you revive it actually. Seriously, you revive it. And of course, with your mentor Dahlia, helping you, I cannot forget that experience.
Of
Alhamdulillah, it's
course,
a
of
beautiful
course.
experience. Like, but Abu, coming from
Yeah.
someone who at the first begin at Sacred Pavlo at South Ilahi as a usher,
Yeah.
and then suddenly for 1 year difference, you became the reviver. That's a
Astaghfirullah.
huge leap of faith. But you are also one of those who actually shown the world how much we have benefit from South Ilahi. I hope so. So what would you like to share when the book is out and you wrote your own experience? Would you
Yeah.
like to share your experience a bit, not too long, not 2 hours? Your experience, what you wrote at Secret Power of Love, your mentor had read about it, and now you share with us what go through your mind after you before you wrote it and after it came out, and the whole journey. Yeah, the whole journey. MashaAllah. 7 years, Abu. Whoa.
7 years.
Brother Khalid, I want to share before Abu speak. I want
Yeah.
to say that I'm very proud of him as a mentor. He's blossomed
MashaAllah.
so
Mashallah.
much. It's like going from boys to men.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you think that he's
Oh my
you think
god.
that he's mature now? You think he's
Oh,
grown?
no, he's ready. He's ready.
Thank you, my mentor. I appreciate it so much.
Go
But
ahead.
I'm just gonna keep it short. You know this word love, right? It's often used, but I think people throw it around a lot, lah. But what does it really mean, kan? I think for me, the entire experience is this. I'm trying to understand what love is. Even now, if you ask me what is love, Abang Khalid once asked me, Abu, what is love to you? I'm speechless. I cannot really answer, lah. But the reason why I say this is because I came to Singapore of Love where I was very lonely, and I was in a state of looking, and I was looking for meaning in my life. So the book it does say finding
Abu,
meaning. Yeah,
looking for
sure.
meaning or looking for someone? Just kidding.
Meaning, meaning, really, really. So if you look at the title, it says finding meaning, beauty, and identity, right? So meaning is not anyone, huh? So I was really looking for something deeper in my life, and I wanted to know what does it mean to be a man, what does it mean to be to grow up or mature. And the Kismet said she was very touched by Haja Shaki's talk. In fact, I was very blown away by the talk. Subhanallah, she's like this beautiful soul, really, like someone giving you. It's like an angel with wings wrapping you around with her guidance and a warmth, and that to me was the essence of it. The warmth that no matter who you are, no matter where you've been, right? They don't care. They just care. They know that there's love. You are being loved by Allah. That is the essence of it that I felt through Hajar Shaki. And to me, the essence of it is unique because the scholars embody it. You see how they talk to people, you see their adab, you see how they really care for you. If someone really cares for you, and they are really sincere, it will really transform your heart. Your heart will melt, I tell you. So like Abang was asking me lah, what is love and all that. The closest I can get to trying to answer that is that, love is when Allah melts your heart in His presence. When you felt so overwhelmed by, why does this person care so much for me? I don't even care for myself that much, but they care for you more than you care for yourself. Really, like who is this lady? Who is this? Mashallah, Haja Shaki, right? So yeah, but really, it is really mind blowing lah. So yeah, you guys can see the book and then the tote back there. But love is that's part of it. But the journey continued beyond that over the years. I would say lah, guys, it's really the support of Abang Khalid and Kak Ainun. We have to say, you know, it's their love, their guidance. We treat them like our own parents. Like I know Mother's Day, Father's Day, people will text Abang Khalid and Kak Ainun. Yes, Abang, you want to say something?
You make me feel so old, you.
I'm not saying it.
I know he's angry, lah. Just kidding.
We're not saying any age or what now, but hint. But yeah, we really feel like they are like your parents. They really care for you, and it's not just come for this event. I think what Dahlia was mentioning about, she felt come as you are, and what Zizie pun mentioned about, when she went there, she felt that there's something very different about the Singapore of Love. That's the essence of it. And that's why I feel people from diverse walks of life can connect with it. Like where you're punk head, where you're skinhead, you're from the music scene, you are a student, you're a mother, you're a divorcee, anyone, And to me, that's important lah, because the essence is important, not just the words, yeah. And yeah, guys, I think for me, the one thing, I mean, for me, how my journey has changed, this is the last point I'm going to say because handing over, is that I used to be a person, I just want to be alone. I just want to be by myself. Then Abang Khalid go and put me as volunteer manager, which is like the most social role ever. Like you have to talk to everyone, and you have to like it or not, you have to work with people, right? Even though I really wanted to be alone, to be honest. I just do backstage. You give me backstage, I'll do it. But that shaped me as a person. I'm the kind, like, if you have guests come over your house, right? Like suddenly they surprise you at home. Hey, assalamualaikum. They knock on your door. I will stay in my room. Like I don't want to be outside and like welcome guests kind of thing. But I think over the years, I learned to outgrow that. I learned to overcome that, and that is how it has shaped my life. And because a lot of us, we have felt transformed in our own life. That's why when we go out there and we talk about Singapore of love, we really believe in it. Like when Kismet talks about it, San, Zizie, even Dahlia, you can hear it in the way she talks about it. We really believe in it. Why? Because it's changed our own life, and we are the living testimonials of it. We don't need to make a poster for it. Our lives are a living testimonial, and that's why I felt very unique about it, Abang.
Yeah, and I think Abu, one thing I would like to say that even your mentor vouched for you. So he said, you have grown to be a man of love, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, recorded live somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
Alhamdulillah.
It's a testimony, correct or not, Dahlia?
Yeah, I want to add, right, that when we talk about this love thing, it's the bigger love than the love that we all are always looking for. So what I learned that transformed me is that, you know, the reality is, the truth is, we are always seeking love from others. You know, we're seeking love from we're always seeking for someone to love us, you know, that significant other, the spouse, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, and all that. But what I have learned from the sacred path of love is the true meaning of unconditional love that brings out the best in us, and that nurtures us to want to be better people. And it starts from you knowing yourself, loving yourself, and understanding that divine love from God, and serving the as a volunteer, and serving the community really opens up my mind and my heart to, there's greater things about love than seeking love from, you know, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you know, and just to get that validation.
And I want to bounce off what you say also.
Yeah.
From teacher to student, student
Yeah,
to teacher.
the lover. You see, I'm a good mentor, right?
Well, I learned it from you. So macam you said about transcend this, like your boyfriend, girlfriend kind of love, shallow love, and I agree. I think Abang and Kak always mention this. It's really about you don't see yourself anymore. When you talk about love, right? I know it's not easy, lah. I mean, it's something you struggle with, but when all of us volunteer, you have to put yourself aside, your ego aside. You have to put that, and you're not there to see whether you are appreciated or not. In that sense, when you are an usher and they don't smile at you, you have to be the one to really welcome people. They might not be in a state where they felt happy when they come for the event. So what is love then when you're in that situation? It's not about romantic love anymore. We're not talking about that. We talk about, you have to serve, you want to give, you want to see, how can I be there for you? I know Allah has given me so much. How can I really share this with you? You know, as a writer, you know, we don't coach you as a writer. Macam like, okay, you know, do this. But eventually you take the initiative to do it, to do things. And, you know, different people work and grow differently lah. And yeah, I just wanted to bounce that off. Yeah.
I think later Satrani will belanja you one Starbucks.
Astaghfirullahaladzim.
I want to add on to that. Sorry, guys. And I feel this is very important for me to share. On all these love thing, what has transformed me a lot is what that loves mean to bring it home. Because we're not, like what Abu said. We live it. We become it and we live it. And I must stress this. It's very important. I feel to share this is I learned to live it with my parents. It's changed my attitude, my behavior, and how I want to treat my parents. It's changed how I look up to my parents and how I feel my parents are very significant in my life, in my development, even as an adult. Surpass all the romantic, superficial love that is going. Yeah, so that's very important. It's how we see our parents. I think from all the scholars, from all of you here, um, I have learned, and that changed how I want to see my parents and how I want to love my parents more. You know.
MashaAllah, beautifully said by the teacher and the mentor and the student. MashaAllah. You see how Sacred Path of Love works? SubhanAllah. It's Allah's work, not us. But we thank Allah for everything. I'm going to go to Kismet. Kismet also wrote a piece in Sacred Path of Love. Right. So how you feel then when the book is out? Do you promote to your friends and do you say that this is your I would say like a 1/900 book, you need it every now and then. Like Dahlia said, I brought the book everywhere, read. So what about you? Like you saw your writing in it, and how was that experience transpired you now? How is it now? What you feel about it?
I think after I attended school in 2013, right? I've been going to Saulahi events after that. And then I remember in 2015, I was invited to speak at SPOL as, like to share my experiences with Arif. And I mean, I didn't think anything about it at first because I thought it was just going to be like, I'm just coming there, sharing my experiences, and then I'm just going off. Like, there won't be any like, I would say, I didn't think about the future, in Saulahi when I was doing that. So and because Arif was from the scene, he was in another band, and I was from. I mean, like we were both from the scene, so I felt comfortable at that. So we shared about how we got reacquainted with Islam again. So I think from that sharing, I got closer to Saulahi, and that was actually my first volunteer experience, actually, sharing my experiences. Then after that, I went on to to do marketing. So like what Abu says, we are actually living testimonials. So from then on, I think everyone around me, like what Zizi said just now, like these are people. She saw videos of myself and Arif, from the scene and all that. So like these are we become the living testimonials. So in fact, sometimes like I've been sharing so much like on my social media and everything, and like everyone is like around. I mean, from my circle, they see, the changes, and they are surprised lah, and they want to know more. And so it's like it's like a self-marketing thing. I mean, like I joined marketing team to market the events, and but like eventually when you market the events as well, right, people will ask you about yourself, like, hey, how did you come to this, and I really have to attribute this to the volunteering in Saulahi, because I think I've said this before, so in one of the lives, like I was never, disciplined, I was never punctual. I was always, like I couldn't be bothered about anything. I just want to, lepa, that was me. I just wanted to have a good time. And I never ever like I never knew my growth. I didn't focus myself. I didn't think, why does I need to grow, this and that. So like when I joined Saulahi, like just from marketing, like like I wasn't doing any marketing at that point of time. I didn't know how to market stuff and all that, but it was just through pure intention lah. I saw all these other people, all these other volunteers, around me, and like how we really believed in the sacred path of love, and how we really believed in Saulahi, because I feel it has benefited us so much. It has given us so much, like betterment to our lives, learning and volunteering at the same time, that we want the community to get what we got. Like it's how to say, that when you have something good, like, just for example, if you're eating like cheese fries and it tastes so good, you definitely go, to your friend, you're like, hey, try, so that's how
Don't
it
forget
was.
the nugget.
Yes, cheese fries and nuggets. So, like, that was how all of us in the volunteers, I mean, all the volunteers in South Lahi felt about
Yeah.
South Lahi and the Sacred Path of Love. We really wanted to benefit the community, and this was the base intention for all our work. And, all of us didn't know what we were doing. I mean, like, we are not like professionals, but the work that was assigned to us, I mean, with our intention, we learned and we just went through it, and it's really by the will of Allah that, that with our intentions, we are able to do so many things. And, I was like, I mean, after marketing, I also did design. I also did like,
Yeah.
for one time, I also did a bit of volunteer
Yeah.
managing, and like, I did a couple of things, and then I actually grew, like, and I never saw this in myself, being someone from who just wanted to have fun. And like, I started discovering things about myself. Like, I started to discover my weaknesses, my strengths, and, like, hey, my God, Kismet, you can do this, you know? Like, I remember when we did the Voice Out campaign, I used to have a band, and we used to sing about, abuse, like, domestic violence, spousal abuse, and everything like that. And here I was, like, contributing to a domestic violence campaign. And it's like, and I think it was the first campaign for South Lahi, and like, we really, it was a first for everyone, but we managed to pull it off. And I really felt like, wow, I would have never thought that we would ever do this. I would ever do this in my life, like, be part of a campaign, like campaigning about, something that I believe so close to my heart. So yeah, I think it's, that's pretty much what I wrote in the book, because this part really means a lot to me, the growth that I got through the Hitma in South Lahi. I always thought that volunteering was always like, how to say, cleaning people's houses and all that, and I thought that I need to do that hard work, to gain that betterment for myself. But, like, even in the back ends in South Lahi, in dealing with people, in dealing with tight deadlines, because we are all volunteers, we have our full-time jobs, and and the thing is, like, we are not paid to do it, but like, sorry, so
That's you just now.
yeah. Yeah, we're not paid.
Can we go back to that photo, please?
I think this was me sharing my experience. Imam Da was asking to share our success or failure. He was talking about failure, yeah. So he was asking to share, like, something in our lives that we have ever overcome. So yeah, that was me sharing. I look very tired, maybe because it was full.
Alhamdulillah.
But yeah, I was like saying, right, Khalid always told me that, like, volunteering really, actually, how to say, practices you to have sincerity. And it is over here in volunteering that I really learned to be ikhlas, because one thing, you're always questioning yourself, who are you doing it for? And, in South Lahi, we're always telling and reminding ourselves that, we're doing this for the community. And, the director is, Rasulullah Sallallahu, and we're doing this for the benefit of the community. And, because you get so tired, you get so frustrated, but you learn to manage this all along the way. And it has helped me as a person, and this, I mean, my changes, of course, my parents are happy. Definitely. It's such a big change. And of course, my career, it benefits my career as well. So yeah, I'm just very thankful to be part of the caravan. Alhamdulillah.
Inshallah, Kismet. And I know you since you were 13.
Yeah.
And inshallah, that's what we call leap of faith.
Yes.
Nice. And I mentioned to some people before, like, in this kind of situation, you cannot learn from books because books is only theory. But when you sit with people who have that aspiration and who went through that experience, you will gain the same thing as what you intend when you sit with them. Right? This is what we learn from the Sufis and the Wali Wali Allah also. Right? And mashallah. So I would like to ask Zizi before I went to Satrani. Satrani, we saved the best for the last. And Zizi first. And what goes through your mind? Zizi? 2 years, 3 years ago, I would say 2 years ago because the book was launched last year. 2 years ago, you attended at KL, and then you became the volunteers, and then suddenly this book. What you learned through your own experience, and what was it like when you saw the book and you think about your experience at Spall itself?
I think maybe my experience like for when I volunteer, right? I think my first ever volunteering experience was Voice Out. Yeah. So like I think there was a time like I really like don't really know lah. Like I'm there, I'm like super clueless. I was doing logistics at that point of time. And then after that, I went to Sacred Path of Love and all that. And my journey through volunteering was really, honestly, I didn't know what my strength was. Like I was in marketing, but like I'm the kind I don't really know like what I'm really good at. So when I come to volunteering, right, I'm just like, okay, whatever people give me, I just take, like I just try. And I try to make a point to always not say no, so that, in a way that I can sort of grow, because I mean, that's the whole point of trying to volunteer, because I think Hidma, you need to grow through Hidma, right? So I'm always that kind of person who will not say. I think because it's just my personality also, I always cannot say no to things. So end up it's a good thing, like it's a good quality in a sense that I end up like learning a lot of things through volunteering lah. So from like marketing to like ushering to like doing like merchandising, I jump from like places to places lah. But I feel like I said lah, like as long as you're willing to, for me, like through the whole journey, right, I feel like sometimes you feel like a bit uncomfortable, right? Like, oh, can I even really do this? Can I even like really be part of the marketing team? Like I've never done it before. Or can I even be part of, trying to design? I even design posters, like, can I even do it? But I just tried anyway. I think the whole point of volunteering with Soilahi through all these events is really you challenge yourself. Like you sometimes think like you cannot do it, but then like you challenge yourself through all these things. Like recently, like honestly, I cannot talk on camera. Like I'm the worst at it. Sidi Khalid ever asked me to talk about the the hospital project, right? Yeah. Then after I say, Sidi, I'm not comfortable with it. I cannot do it. And then suddenly, like I'm always on Facebook Live now, like talking. So it's like it really challenges you, and you just need to be willing to just try. And at the end of the day, you need to think that what is your intention of doing it lah. So I learned about that through all the volunteers actually, because when I see the volunteers grow, then I tell myself, you see, they give them that opportunity to grow. So like you have to give yourself that favor to, grow as well. And you need to see what the intentions are. So I feel like the volunteers are all like really mentors in my eyes. They all of them like really help me in different ways. Like if like I learn a lot from Kismet, I learn a lot from Abu, I learn a lot from Santri, like a lot of people like who are the volunteers, I really learn a lot from them. And then like for Sacred Path of Love itself, the event, I feel like what really stands out about the event is that the diversity of the crowd. I feel like, yeah, like what Santriani say, right? Like come as you are. People, that's the reason why I wanted to go to Sacred Path of Love in the first place, because yeah, I saw at So Ilahi's events, like all these people that I know from the scene, like how come they're all suddenly like affiliated with So Ilahi? So it kind of like spark that curiosity in me that makes me like, there must be something in this event that changed them. So, and then when I go through, having sat as a participant and then having volunteered for Sacred Path of Love, I realized that, it really benefits the community. Like from the talks, it really, it's not just like talks that you just, okay, you listen and then after that, that's it. But you really bring through your life, like your experiences, like how you deal with people, and knowing that mental health is I was so clueless about it. I think now it really opens up my eyes to see that people are suffering from a lot of things, like a lot of anxiety. And because I go through anxiety as well, like I think that also kind of like helps me navigate like my life, like in a way. So in that sense, yeah, I always feel like I always encourage my friend to just come, because sometimes they feel like, oh, they don't know if they come they will like benefit from it, right? They will always say Islamic talk, like every other Islamic talk is like the same. They will always have this mindset, but I will always push them to go, because honestly they will always take back something.
Can I bounce off a bit with
Yeah,
you, Zizie? I think
sure.
one very interesting thing about what Zizie is mentioning is she's very receptive to learning. I mean, like you mentioned, you didn't know what's your strength, right?
Yeah.
One very common thing that some volunteers, when they first start, they will say, I don't know what's my strength. I don't know what department I can be in. Maybe volunteer manager lah, so I'm doing a call out to volunteers if you guys want to volunteer as well. But when you come in on board, what's the difference between someone who, I really, no, I don't know what I want to do, and you, because your approach is, I don't know what I want to do, I don't know what's my strength, but yet I'm willing to try, I'm willing to learn. What kind of advice would you give to someone who wants to volunteer or wants to grow, but yet they don't know where to start, what's their strength, who they are?
Abu, your teacher is very happy.
Advisor, I think really whatever that is needed at the moment for that event, particular event or anything, just say yes to it. Like if someone says like, okay, can you help me with this? Just say yes to it, because you will never know whether you are capable of doing it unless you do it. You know what I mean? So for me, that is it. Like I didn't know that I could even talk on a camera now. Now I'm feeling a bit more comfortable than when I first started, but you kind of just have to push yourself. You cannot like have that mental block to say that no, you cannot do. But then if you set your intention straight, like why are you doing this? You're doing this because for Allah, for Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and you set the intention, and inshallah if you do it for the right intention, Allah will ease it for you, and then inshallah you will learn something from it lah. So that's my advice. I think you should never see yourself, like you should stop thinking like whether I can do it, what will people think if I do it, what if I'm doing it wrong and stuff like that. But just go for it, because you will always learn something, like even if you end up you doing a shitty job, right? But at the end of the day you will still learn.
But is there a city job in Saudi Ilahi?
No,
There isn't.
no, there's no
jobs.
like me. No, like there
I'm
isn't.
not putting you on the spot. Just wondering whether is there anyone who complain about they do. But I think Zizie is one of the most amazing volunteer. Really, she's the newest among us. But
Yes.
the way she talk, like as if she was with us for 10 years. Amazing. You hear her words, you hear her story, her testimony. It's like, dude, were you with us 10 years ago? It's like, wow. It's like you were with us all this while, mashallah. Thank you very much for sharing. I think Abu had that inspiration to ask you, and I think that teaches us a lot. Even for myself, when I first started volunteer, I was also an usher with the different organization, and how I grow is like what you said. Just take it only lah. Just do only whatever people say to you. But that's the thing lah. Small little thing will grow into big things. Like the Malay said, apa sikit-sikit lama-lama jadi bukit. Yeah, insyaAllah. Anyway, we are looking at someone who is smiling right now, and all her work pay off, and we have to give her credit, mashallah. Yeah, Sister Satrani, and all the effort. What comes to your mind, Satrani? We like to always joke with her the name, because Satrani, for me, growing up in the rock era, Joe Satrani. So we thought like that was sort of like something in it. But she said, no, my father loved him, so he named after me. I don't know whether that is right, but correct me. But anyway, coming back to the books and everything, right? How you feel right now? Looking at all these are your transcript work. It is your work actually. We hijack it, and we make it like as if it's ours, and then we add on with our writing. So yeah, it's actually your work. I mean, Allah bless you for this. Amazing. From someone who also started an usher, and this book came out through you. Subhanallah. This is what called karama. So what goes through your mind? Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. It's still, honestly, when I look at the book, I still it still feels very surreal to me, because like all this while, as a writer for Saida, he never really had any like physical sort of like there was never any physical thing like this is my work or like something. It's just, for me it was just like you just do the work, then wherever it ends up, whoever it benefits, that's, alhamdulillah for everything. And I have never really seen it as my work. Like, I mean, I do it and transcribe and edit and whatever, but I mean, everything is really like for Allah and the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So seeing the book itself and seeing, I guess, the product of all the work that everybody's put in for the past 10 years is really humbling, and it's still very sincere. I mean, it's been a while since the book came out, but yeah, it's a really beautiful thing to have that book there.
MashaAllah, Satrani always a few words, but the work he does is amazing. And I myself, like, when I first time saw her did writing, right? I'm being honest with all of you live right now. It's like I myself blown away the way how she does writing, and even transcribing also. Then I was like, is there any ijazah for it? Yeah, you said 2 days already you got that. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
inshallah. I think that is something that, were you ever thought that you had that capability of being transcript after transcript?
No,
Mm.
I think when I first started doing it, I mean, I didn't have like an idea in my head like this is how I'm gonna do it, or like, like I'm gonna like do it like this or whatever. It was just like this is something that I've been like a responsibility that I've been given, and so I'm just gonna take it and really do my best in it. And it was exhausting. Like the process of transcribing is really really exhausting.
Yeah, it
But
is. It is. It is.
again,
I
it
think,
just comes back to intention, I think. So
inshallah.
something that I've really learned from that whole process is very important is to really just always reset your intention from the start. So yeah, I mean, just reminding yourself that this is for Allah, this is for the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam really makes a huge difference, because you know that it's not, I mean, you're typing and writing or whatever, but you're not the one doing it. You're just a medium, I guess, for the message of love, of course.
Allah. And I think Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala show us about all your contributions, um, became a means of hope, to humanity actually. Because from the time we start to launch it at Singapore of Love last year, and until today, we have been receiving a lot of positive feedback, tremendous response actually, not only in Singapore but all over the world, right? Even from Brunei, UK, and in fact, a lot of people around the world are still wanting to get it. So inshallah, we try to work it out. Because of the pandemic, it halt us from doing a lot of things that can push the book forward. But now it's coming back, inshallah. Yeah. So thank you very much for sharing your blessing with us. I think I don't have much things to say about the book. Um, I always been made as a PR for the book and PR for the events and everything. But alhamdulillah, it's a blessing to meet different walks of life. We launch it in KL. Besides, we launch it in Singapore, right? And I think that's one of the things that I treasure the most, where I connected with many different people from different walks of life. And I love to meet people actually. My wife is the opposite, of course. So we have our own work. But all I can say is that I read the book and I love every single thing, and it every title or every title of the book actually give me the memory of where it was, when it was, and how it changes my life itself from where I was before. And it's a journey. It's a journey that I keep trying to rectify myself, to improve myself. Whenever I read this book, whenever even I saw this book, I wrote because my wife asked me to write something, and I felt that when I read Kismet, Satrani, Abu Sufyan, even my wife writing, I felt that this journey started long ago, and it's more than just a friends thing. It's a companionship, and it's a companionship for Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, and may Allah bless this companionship.
I
And
mean,
may
can I
Allah
bounce off something, abang?
yeah. You don't
Sorry,
ask me to sing, huh?
sorry. Co-host, I have to do my job also.
Okay.
Okay, abang. So, okay, now we're gonna put you in the spot, put you in the question lah, because I think that we've all shared about the journey, and I did ask her how did she see things differently 2010 and 2020. I wanted to ask you because you meet people from so many walks of life. You know, what was the what was your greatest, where you feel that the greatest thing that you learned over these years, throughout all of these years, 10 years learning and being with people, you know, what was the things that you really felt really touched your heart about this whole experience? Because the journey of Singapore of Love wasn't 2010. The journey of Singapore of Love actually started with Kak and Abang, in a sense that from their heart something started and they wanted to based on their history, based on their biography, what they went through in life. That's why they realized there's something that needs to be shared with the community. So Abang, the question is, what do you feel is the biggest thing that you know felt touched with throughout the years, seeing everybody, you know?
If I want to put in words, it's very difficult for me to describe because it's coming from the heart. But I would like to touch on what you said, and you, Dahlia, and I think almost everyone on board. And that's how we are in the same caravan, same heart together. Is the unconditional love. Over the years, I brought Kismet along, and I also promote to Zizie. And I never thought like I will bring someone who even in 80s to Singapore of Love. Someone who is not in this panel lah, obviously. I brought them, and when I brought them in, I said, it is not my duty to teach you or to make you believe what I believe, but since you are looking for something in life, I'm just sharing you with my blessing. And if that is not good enough, I'm okay with it if you're not happy. But there's no compassion because they always ask me, is there something for me that I can look out for? Is there something that I can learn? So I always brought these people in. And when they came in, it's not a miracle thing lah. It's a journey, like what all of you had mentioned, a journey. And each one of us had our own unique experience, our own brokenness, our own despair, our own betrayal, our own heartache that make us human. And through that, we learn about who we really are and what we really are. Sheikh Mahi ever said to me, he said, you cannot share love if you do not have love. And you cannot share, not only you cannot share love, you do not have love. You cannot give your heart to anyone if you do not have a heart. So I learned that from year to years, and the struggle every year that we have, it's not easy. A lot of times people thought like macam buat event senang aja. Apply permit, then after that get poster done, and she start Chinese smiling, and then after that then everybody will start to sign up. It's not that. You and me, we learn it's not that. And all the marketing team over the years, the writing team, all we know it's not. But because of that struggle, we look deeply into the work that we had done, the design, the writing. We learn what is this, what is the objective of it, what is the core of this title, what is the synopsis, does it link to anything or anywhere, and who are we reaching out to, right? But sometimes when you close your eyes, when you do it with your heart, anyone can attend. I've met quite number of non-Muslim attending it. We never reach out to them, but they want to look out for something like what I mentioned just now, 80s, the 80s and all that. Right? Come as you are. But if it's good, okay. If it's not good, also okay. You just want to find something in your life. And we hope that we can share with you because we want to share it with you. And most of the time, some of them embrace Islam and some of them didn't, but they still my friends and they will be my friends forever. Right? Because at the end of the day, when you talk about love, it's all about being human and about us witnessing our own brokenness that I mentioned just now. So that's the thing that I can share because there's no exact, direct words or saying that I can say to describe my whole journey, my whole experience at Secret Path of Love. Right.
Beautiful.
But alhamdulillah, every year I met new people. They became my friends, and they are my friends. And yeah, alhamdulillah, that's what it's all about, being friends. Right?
Yes. Yes. And we felt that, Abang. We do feel that, as a friend, you're very sincere, you're there for us. And therefore we felt a lot of love. Lah.
Is it because of my football? No.
Football and durian.
Mm. Yeah, I believe that the driving force behind it is Kak Ainun lah. And I would like to say I'm just PR, but PR also kena train by the driving force kan. Macam, okay, what you have to do, what can you do and all that. But that grew me, really. I'm also introvert like Satrani and all that at one time. But when I was in NS, I was pushed to be an instructor. I don't want. I nearly cry, I don't want, but what to do? But when I came out, when I start to do South Ilahi, you think my wife will speak? She will speak. She will say, you speak. No, tak ada, we spend more of the time quarreling, like who going to speak. So, alhamdulillah, I learned after 12 years at South Ilahi. South Ilahi had different adventures, achievement, and we never talk about that because I felt the achievement is nothing because at the end of the day, it's all the people that we can share the blessing with. Correct.
Yeah.
If Dahlia come happy, I'm also happy. Correct. You like Sheikh Abdul Aziz said, it takes one man to change. That's it. We
Yeah.
don't look for the masses, but at the same time, we share whatever we have in our heart with whoever that comes. Right? Okay lah. Now I pass to my driving force.
Bismillah.
Right. Everybody want to hear she speak. So yeah.
Yes.
What am I supposed to say?
After all this, that what we had shared about the book and
Yeah.
everything, or what's your final word?
Okay. I think throughout the years, the beautiful thing is meeting everyone from the volunteers to the participants. I think at first, like any other person, like when we started out, it was about bringing the scholars, but then quickly, like I remember Sheikh Naim Abdul Wali, he said your first priority is the community lah. You should look at what the community needs, not what scholars that you want to bring in. And he was very direct. He said that if the scholar is not suitable for your community, then you should think of those who are suitable for your community. So that shifted, basically, like we do focus a lot on the community, and we met a lot of different people. I remember, like, I was looking at the picture, right, last year. We had in Masjid Ansar, right, we had the blackout. And then we were all very stressed. Like there was nothing we could do because it's the venue provider, and then they cannot switch it on. We tried, but then it just doesn't happen. It went on for, like, I think
Few
an hour,
hours.
a few hours, right? Yeah, and then it was very hot, and then everybody is sitting there without the aircon and then without the light. And then in the end, Sister Munia Abbas just continued without a mic, she just continued. And then the funny part was that actually Kak Rabia was telling me, wow, I tell you, the participant of Secret Power of Love is always very different. After everything they went through, right, they didn't even complain. Like, we didn't receive any complaint. And then I was like, wow, yeah, it's true. Because I think the special part is that it actually gathered a lot of people who were also facing like challenges. So when they were there, they were looking for something. So that's the beauty. You see, like, you are not putting your ego out there, like, okay, I want something, I pay for this, that means I want something. So there was sincerity in, I think, everyone there, like even the volunteers and the participants. So they were actually grateful after the whole thing. So that's one of the things that's very beautiful, I felt, is that everybody saw it as a journey. And yeah, we developed by learning from each other.
I think when my wife said develop by learning from each other, right? I also like to mention, just now she mentioned Kak Rabia, Kak Aina.
Yes.
These are senior volunteers who are volunteers, but they like la 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 la, like smiling and no nothing, just khidmah. It's khidmah, like Sidi Ashik and on that khidmah only. So I also learn from them actually, and I hope to be like them. Seriously, right? Yeah. So Alhamdulillah, Abu, can you talk about the book, where we can buy the book and how we can get the book before we end?
Um, I don't know, Kismet, you want to talk about the book? I think you're in the merch team. Bismillah, Kismet.
No, you. Don't arrow me.
Okay, guys, you take a look at the book. Okay, so the design is by a volunteer as well. It's on your
Design
screen
is
right
by
now.
Ami.
Ami,
Ami
our
is
volunteer.
watching. Please credit her, Ami. Ami,
Hi, Dian,
Allah bless you,
Amira.
Ami.
Ami, may Allah bless you. Yeah. Again, even the design is by a volunteer, Ami. You know, so you can actually look out for the book. It's actually on our social media, right? You guys can check out the link on how to buy the book. And also, if you have any questions, you know, just check out the social media. You can just ask us questions on where to get a book or any difficulty that you face. Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy
Okay,
the book
maybe I
at
can say.
You can buy the book at Wardah Books, and for those even in international, that means you're
Yeah.
outside Singapore, you can buy at Wardah Books. In Malaysia, you can buy at Muka Cafe, and also at Nur Inai bookstore also, right? And if you want to order from us directly, message our social media, FB and IG. Yeah. All right.
Kismet, you want to say something? I think Kismet. No.
No, I wanted to say, but Khalid has already said to message us through our social media to contact us to purchase the books.
Yeah. Now we
Alright.
have a merchandise team, mashallah, and please give them some work, inshallah, and I hope that you benefit us, because even the collection of this book will give us or we call it budget for our more projects coming up soon, right? So with this, I'd like to say the end. We have come to the end of this online panel discussion with all these beautiful souls coming together, mashallah. Like I want to say this again. Before we end, I'd like to hear all your final words. What you have to say to all those people watching this. I think maybe I start with Shatrani, since just now she's the end. Now she's the first. Yes.
I think everything has already been said by everyone so far. And all I have left to say is really alhamdulillah for everything. I'm genuinely grateful for everything from the bottom of my heart. And I'm grateful to Sini Ali and Ainun for giving me so many opportunities and giving all of us the space, safe space that we need to, be nurtured and to grow and all this. And yeah, the caravan is always open to anyone.
MashaAllah. Thank you. Zizi, yours. All yours now.
Yeah, so I would just like to say a bit about the book. Like, if you guys have never been to Secret Path of Love, read the book. Read about. It's really easy to read, and there's a lot of gems in it. So if you're really skeptical about Secret Path of Love, get the book, read it, and then inshallah you will see how it goes, how your journey goes through that. And then also I will also like to thank like Abang Khalid, Siti Khalid and Ainun for this caravan of love and all the volunteers who have been like such great mentors to me that I've learned so much from you guys. And I think like whoever who wants to volunteer with So Ilahi, you're always welcome. In whatever background you are in, we accept you. Like that's what So Ilahi is about.
Thank you, Z. How about you, our mentor Dahlia? Are you happy with the valuation of your student?
Well, I would say on my personal side is I kind of feel like because I guess what really opened up for me to want to attend the Sacred Path of Love initially as a participant was actually the influence of Rumi. Growing up, I really am in love with Rumi's work. And in fact, I said to a lot of my friends that if Rumi was alive, I would propose to him. So I guess that was the thing that made me question a lot about life itself, and brought me to the Sacred Path of Love. If you ask me how it happened, I cannot really point my finger to how it really happened, like how I found myself, at the Sacred Path of Love. What really drove me to attend the Sacred Path of Love, and then into suddenly I'm a volunteer, and suddenly I'm like mak nenek to Abu Sufyan. Like I force him into a role that like you just have to take the lead, Abu. No choice. But I would say my note is what you seek. This is what I learned for myself from Rumi is what you seek is also seeking you. So while I thought that I found Sod Ilahi and I found the Sacred Path of Love and all the wonderful friends who have become family to me, I feel like more like it was also seeking me. So that and I'm very, 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 so for the last 2 years I've been in Jakarta and I haven't really been able to volunteer, but I was very happy to see the book come out at Wardah Books. It's really the next step to our mission, if I may say, the Sud Ilahi's mission to help the community. And I just want to add on, I was actually contemplating if I should share this, but since Sister Kismet and Zizie also shared about the voice out, openly I would say that I was a victim of sexual harassment when I was young. So I never imagined that I would be given a platform to voice out, to call women, to voice out, them going through domestic violence and not knowing what to do. So thank you so much, So Ilahi, for that opportunity that I could, voice out and tell people, get out of that domestic violence and sexual, harassment that you're facing in your life. I'm just happy that I'm able to empower, be a vehicle part of the campaign to empower people in the streets of, in Arab Street, and just bring awareness to people and allowing them to see that there is a safe space where you can consult, and help yourself. So that's the, I forgot about that, but when Sister Kismet and Zizie actually brought it up, yeah, that was the most significant part of my journey with Sacred Path of Love.
Thank you. MashaAllah. So beautiful. Alhamdulillah. We go to Kismet now. Any last word you'd like to share or to say?
Yeah, so I think what was mentioned just now was come as you are. So, and also leap of faith. So I just want to let everyone out there know that that this caravan is open to all. You you really are able to come as you are. If you are seeking something, if you are finding something, if you're lost or anything, you feel lost, or you need you need navigation or something like that, you can always join Saulahi's events and the Sacred Path of Love, or even volunteer for us. There's a lot of room for growth, and to discover yourself, and of course to discover Islam. And for me, that's how I managed to get back into everything about the deen. So I just want to mention that this is open to everyone, and just take that leap of faith, and don't I mean, like, for me, like I mentioned, I was really nervous and scared, but I took that leap of faith, and I discovered something so beautiful, and which is what we want to share with everyone else. It's life changing, and we want everyone to have it. And I feel bad for telling Abu that I don't want to talk about the book. I will talk about the book for a bit. Okay. So
Bismillah.
I just looking at the contents of the book, right? It covers everything from grief, sorrow, dealing with your pain of the past, and contentment in failure, freedom of yourself. And basically, it covers every part of your life. So, like what Zizie says, if you are nervous, to come to an event, find out. You can actually find out what you can actually read this book. And basically, this book is like how to say, the backbone of all the themes that Saudlahi always talks about, and get an insight through this book first, and then probably you can join us further in future for our events, and also join us to volunteer, inshallah.
Inshallah, thank you. The title all sound very hardcore music, right? Yeah.
Very.
So now, Mr. Abu Sufyan,
Yeah, I wanted to share this piece of poetry that I read online.
mashallah.
It's a very short line that I think describes my journey in Sacred Path of Love really well. So this is what it says. Across the gateway of my heart, I wrote no thoroughfare, and love came laughing by and cried, I enter everywhere. Across the gateway of my heart, I wrote no thoroughfare, and love came laughing by and cried, I enter everywhere. Ka is laughing. But I think the reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes you close your heart off. You think that there's no way out. You think that, you don't know where to go, you're lonely, you feel that it's dark. You're in a space like you're in quicksand. This poem really reminds you that love will enter everywhere. Even if you've shut your heart out, it will find its way to get to you. Don't lose hope. And this book, you look at the contents, you talk about grief, about losing a loved one, or you talk about sorrow. We talk about unshackling the chains of our past, the pain that the past have brought to you. How can you release? How can you be free? You talk about wisdom. People talk about knowledge all the time, but what about wisdom? To know how to respond in a certain situation in a mature way, mature way. Or like you say boys to men, right? What does it really mean to be a man? You need wisdom, man. What does it mean to be a woman, really? Yeah. And about trials, going through trials and tribulations. We will never be free from trials. You will lose someone you love. You will pass away. You will lose your job. You will lose something. So it encompasses everything. So again, I'm gonna repeat the poem one last time because it's so beautiful. It says, "Across the gateway of my heart, I wrote no thoroughfare, and love came laughing by and cried, I enter everywhere." So if you think that love can't get through you, think again. Yeah. So this is the sacred power of love for me, lah. Yeah.
Dahlia was talking about Rumi and you shared the poetry, mashallah.
Mashallah.
I'm very proud of him.
Alhamdulillah.
Inshallah.
Dahlia's
We are
gonna
all
cry
proud of
now.
him.
Oh,
Yeah.
joy.
Alhamdulillah.
I think before we end, I have nothing much to say, but I think our
Yeah.
boss here may have something
Okay.
to say.
Bismillah.
Okay. So thank you, Abu, for that beautiful poem. I think it sums up about love, and you're a man full of love. So
Why is she laughing?
So I wanted to say, whether are you in love or not?
It's a very complicated question.
She cannot end it. So just like to say thank you to everyone.
Alhamdulillah.
All the volunteers. I lost count the volunteers that we had since day one until today. It's amazing. Allah is merciful. right? If you hear all those people, all those in the panel, they're talking about how they grow through volunteerism, and that's how we are. That means like you see the wisdom and the mercy of Allah. And I'd like to thank all those who became my friends along the years and stay with me wherever you are. And mashallah, thank you so much for being a friend. And thank you so much for sharing your blessing with me. And I'm looking forward to keep on trying my best despite my age. I'm still young lah anyway. Although Abu say I'm like a father to him. Like um, just hope, you know, Allah preserve my health that I can inshallah continue this journey and contribute to the society and the community. And what I like the most about the work that we do, the volunteerism that we do, it connects our hearts together with every walks of life, every people, and everyone wants Allah. So we share the blessing together, right? So Alhamdulillah, and
I mean,
thank
I'd
you
like to
everyone.
bounce off one last thing. I think on behalf of everyone here, Kismet, Santri, Zizie, Dahlia, we'll just like to thank Kai and Abang, really lah. Because without the guidance, without the opportunities, we won't even learn all these things. You know, we won't be able to look at life in a mature way. And I think it's really through your guidance lah.
You will not have the opportunity to read your poetry, so
Yes, a lot of people would not have opportunities.
it's amazing to know each one of you. Really, thank you so
Alhamdulillah.
much.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
God
much
bless you.
for sharing your heart and your love and your blessing with me and my wife.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, and okay, with that, thank you so much. We've come to the end of a very beautiful conversation. Again, check out our Facebook Lives, guys. There's a lot of very insightful and interesting content. We hope that will change your life. If not, give you a little perspective on how to see things. And we hope that you can share. If you don't want to watch it, you can even share. And with that, please pray for us, our volunteers. Please pray for our directors, Sidi Khalid, Saida Ainun, and all of us. May Allah grant them good health. May Allah grant us taqwa. May Allah accept this work that we're doing. And may Allah grant us a pure heart on the day where no soul shall be safe except the ones with a pure heart. I mean, and with that, thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.